Welcome to Wicked Housewives on Cape Cod, Living the Dream, a show that celebrates ordinary people who do extraordinary things. Hear what motivated them to attain their goals. See which circumstances molded their character and turned them into everyday heroes. Learn more about this show and the hosts for Wicked Housewives on Cape Cod TV and radio on Facebook. Now here are your hosts, the Wicked Housewives on Cape Cod, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos and Lori Boyle.
Hi, my name is Lori Boyle. I'm one of the Wicked Housewives. And today we're going to interview our other Wicked Housewife, Kanavos, who has written a fabulous book called Surviving Cancerland, Intuitive Aspects of Healing. Kat survived cancer 3 times, and 3 times her cancer was undiagnosed by doctors. And it was only due to her relentless dreams that she had cancer did she have to go back and get the doctor's attention and have them pay attention to her and see that she actually did have cancer. So Kat is going to tell us the story about how that came about and about the book that she wrote. I just want to read you one thing that she writes on the back of her book. Her motto is, "Don't tell your higher power how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your higher power is." That should scare them away. And if you're familiar at all with Dr. Bernie Siegel, who has written many books on cancer and is an oncologist and did a lot of work with cancer with children, he has a quote on the back of her book, and I'll just read that to you quickly here. "Kathleen's story is powerful, honest, and eye-opening. She asks readers to go a bit beyond where they might feel comfortable, but if you're willing, the reward is the story of a profound healing journey. Kathleen tells us, my crisis increased my intuition, which in turn saved my life. Thank you, Kathleen. Miracles and angels are a part of our lives, so anticipate them and tune in through your quiet mind." That was Bernie Siegel. So Kat.
Thank you, Lori. It's so unusual to be up here and actually be interviewed because we usually have somebody between us and we're interviewing them. So yes, October is known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but unfortunately, cancer happens all the time. It's not just in October. And it's kind of, I don't know, it was almost like a bad joke to have breast cancer in October because it was like, boo, you have breast cancer. So I try to bring awareness, not just to breast cancer, but to all health, wealth, and relationship through our dreams. And what happened in my case is I had gone for my yearly checkup, like we all do. You know, you go in, you get your mammogram, your blood test, your physical exam, and my doctors all told me I was healthy and to go home. And I did. But that night, and this is kind of the X-rated part of this show, my husband and I were in the jacuzzi together, and he said, what is this little thing I'm feeling over by your breast? And I said, I don't know, but I've been kind of having dreams about it. And it turned out that night I had another what I call recurrent dream. And in this dream, I had a spirit guide that stepped into my dream through a pop-up in my dream. And this pop-up in the dream is just like a pop-up window on your computer and just as difficult to get rid of. My spirit guide happens to look like a Franciscan monk. Why? I have no idea. But he has on a brown hooded robe and a rope belt, little leather sandals. And he walked into my dream through the pop-up and he said, "Come with me, I have something to tell you." And my epic dream, and I'm going to get a little more into the different type of dreams that we have, but my epic dream that I was having stopped because time stood still. And when time stands still in your dreams, You're going into the time continuum, the realm between realms is what I call it. And it's an area where you get information not only from your spirit guides, and yes, we're all born with spirit guides and guardian angels. We're their job, and they take that job very seriously. It's their job to keep us on our path for our life purpose. That purpose that we decided to be a part of before we were even born. And that's why I say, when you are in crisis, don't tell your higher power how big your problems are. Tell your problems how big your higher power is, because your higher power, your God, already knows. You decided before you came down here to be involved in that crisis. So anyhow, I went into this room between realms with my spirit guide dressed like the monk. Yeah, it sounds like a TV show, doesn't it? And he took my hand and he put it on my breast and he said, "Do you feel that?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "That is breast cancer. Go back to your doctor tomorrow and get a different test." So long story short, Lori, I ended up going back to my doctor 3 times. I got 3 different mammograms, 3 blood tests, 3 physical exams, and at the end of that 3 months, he said the same thing: "You're healthy, go home." So the 4th time I had the dream with the monk, when he showed up in my dream, I started crying. And I said, "I know why you're here, and I don't know what else to do. I've talked to my doctors, and they're not listening to me. So if you want me to live, do something to help me." And he pulled out a feather. So in my book, down here in the very bottom is a tiny little feather, because that's what it was. It was just a tiny little feather that he handed me. And he said, "You go back to your doctor tomorrow, and if you use this feather as though it's a sword, and you verbally fence with him against everything he's saying, that you're healthy and to go home, you'll win, and you'll get the test you need." And that's exploratory surgery. Now, even in my dream, I went, "Exploratory surgery? You mean like cut me open and explore me?" I said, "Yes, that's the only thing that's going to show it."
Oh, God.
I know. So I went back to my doctor without an appointment, showed up on his doorstep, and he looked at me and he said, "Kathy, why are you back?" And I said, "Look, I know something is wrong. I know it. I know I have breast cancer." And he said, "Kathy, we've talked about this. You're too young for breast cancer. Doesn't run in your family. You don't have it." And I said, "I need exploratory surgery." And he looked at me like he'd been shot. And he said, "I can't do that. It's against hospital policy. It's against my policy. You have to think about repercussions, complications." And we've seen with Joan Rivers that you can have complications from anesthesia, but you can have bigger ones from disease.
Right.
So you make sure that the doctors that you have working with you and on you are the best you can get. They're going to be your co-pilots while you can't fly your plane because you're under. And I looked at him and I said, "I don't know where else to go. I know something's wrong. I need you to help me." And he goes, "Kathy, I can't do anything." And then I remembered the feather. It was like, oh my gosh, I've got a feather. And I imagined taking it out and pointing it at him. And I said, "Help me. I don't know what else to do." And we're seeing a lot of these vampire movies on TV, and the vampire walks in and he kind of glamours the cop and says, "You want to jump off the roof and land on your head?" And he goes, "Yes, I want to jump off the roof and land on my head." And my doctor looked at me and he said, "Okay." And I thought, my gosh, did he just say okay? So to make a long story short, he went and got the appointment for me for the exploratory surgery, and pathology confirmed or validated my dream. I was in stage 2.
Oh my God.
Aggressive breast cancer with it in my lymph node. So the moral of this story and this book is, as women, we know our bodies. We know what we know. We have that female intuition. We have that intuitive aspect of healing. We just seem to know what to do for our children, for our pets, for our husbands, for our families to make them feel better. And sometimes we don't tap into that for ourselves. So what my purpose was in writing this book is to get not just women, but everyone to tap into their dreams, because our dreams are the doorway to our higher power. And that's where our spirit guides speak to us.
Now, since that time, though, you have really studied dreams, and you have just made this part of your purpose here in this life. And so can you tell us about like different dreams, like the categories of dreams, and how we should think of them?
Certainly. First of all, what I'm going to do is, before I tell you the 7 categories of dreams, the basic categories, there are many, many types of dreams. But you can get lost. It's like you can't see the forest for the trees. There's so many dreams. I'm just going to give you this basic 7 categories and the 6 ways to remember them. But don't run out and get a pencil and paper, because you can go to my website, www.survivingcancerland, all one word, .com, just like the book, survivingcancerland.com. And there's a free download for you there. It's in the right-hand corner, and it will have the 6 steps to remembering your dreams, the 7 categories of dreams, and a little dream journal for you. So I'm going to start with the 6 steps to remembering your dreams, and this is what you'll actually see on my website, and I'm going to actually have this up behind us later. The first thing you want to do is voice your intention. And remember, if you're not remembering your dreams, chances are good you're remembering your daydreams, and you can use those just as well. For a lot of reasons, Lori, many of us aren't remembering our dreams, and sometimes it's because of medications. Sometimes it's because we're so exhausted after we've worked hard all day, and we've gone and picked the children up from school and from soccer and from piano lessons and from ballet. Then we ran home, we cooked our meals, we did a load of laundry, we fed the pets, we walked the dog. Then we go into such a deep level of sleep that we can't remember our dreams when we wake up. We have the dreams, and we're being spoken to by our spirit guides, but because we're so exhausted, we're still tired when we wake up, we don't always pull the dream up with us. So what I'm going to do now is try and help you remember your dreams. First of all, voice your intention. This is also known as dream incubation, and the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Greeks used to use dream incubation all the time. They would actually go into their place of worship and sleep on the floor, hoping that their spirit guides would come into their dreams to solve a problem or give them a healing dream so that they could get well. The healing dream would tell them exactly what they needed to do, what they needed to drink, what they needed to eat, or maybe a toxic person they needed to get rid of. And by setting your intention, you're doing a couple of things. You're showing your inner selves through your eyes exactly what you want to do. When you take that intention, write it down on a little piece of paper and put it under your pillow. You're showing your inner selves what you're going to do when you wake up. You're going to take the dream from the 4th and 5th dimension, write it in your dream journal, and be able to look for the interpretation, what I call your Jabberwocky talk, that dream language that you were born with, because we were all born bilingual with that, and we have a tendency to forget it as we get older. We're told to put away our toys and our dreams as we get older. Put away your toys if you want to, never put away your dreams. So the second thing you want to do is keep your dream journal right next to your bed. And if you don't have one, go to my website and download it. It's free. Put it next to your bed, because when you wake up, Lori, and you've got to run around the room, try to find a piece of paper to write it on, try to find a pen or a pencil, you're going to forget it. It's gone. Boom. It's like a mist. And as soon as you move, boom, the mist is gone. So stay very still and start to work backwards with your dream and write it in your journal. If you still can't remember your dream, lie back down in bed in the same position you were in, because our epic dreams, which I'm going to get into, usually bookmark our dream that we have when we fall asleep and the dream that we have when we wake up. So if you can lie back down, you might slide into the epic dream and through the doorway into the dream you wanted to remember. Also, write down your feelings. What did you feel when you first woke up? Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you excited? Were you anxious? Frightened? Write that down. Even if you don't remember the dream, it doesn't matter. You just want to write down your feelings because it's going to be part of the dream. It elicited emotions from you. And so you don't have to remember the whole dream. You can just remember a snippet, a little snippet of dream that gave you the most emotion because that's your message. Maybe not the whole dream, because often when we have a long dream, it's the same thing repeated over and over, and usually in threes. And it's a way that our dream world is trying to make sure that we can bring it back and not forget it. So write down whatever your feelings are, then write down your color. Because you know, our world is made of colors. We wear a lot of colors. Our chakras are colors. The outside world is full of colors. Color is important to us. We all have colors that we love. Like I love yellow and I love green. And then we have colors that we're not real crazy about. I'm not real crazy about gray, but there are also universal symbolism colors. Red, stop. Green, go. Yellow, well, yellow for me in a light is either slow down or go really fast before the red light. So it's kind of up to you. So colors mean something really important. And you'll figure them out as you start to remember your dream language, that Jabberwocky language, and you crack your own personal dream code, and you start figuring out what your spirit guides are saying to you. And then last of all, you want to give it a name. Even if it is the dream I can't remember. I have no idea what I was dreaming last night. I can't remember any of the colors. Give it a title, because during the day, something may trigger that dream. A deja vu. Did you have a deja vu, or did your dream come true? You know, it'll happen while you're eating lunch and somebody will say something and you'll go, oh, I heard that in my dream last night. So what are you going to do with that information? You get your dream journal, write it down on a napkin. You don't want to lose it. You know, my dream journal had toilet paper taped in there, napkins taped in there, anything I could find. You know, the paper from gum? Yeah, I wrote my dreams in there, taped it inside that journal. And this book is a result of that furry little journal. So you want to name your dreams so you know where to tape those pieces of paper and add them into your dream journal, because they're important or you wouldn't remember them. So now that you remember the 6 steps, let's talk about the 7 categories of dreams. And like I said, Lori, there's a lot more than 7, but I'm going to keep it simple for everybody, because otherwise it's mind-blowing. The first one, and one of the most important ones, are the daydreams. And I love daydreams. Believe it or not, some of the biggest countries like Microsoft now require that their employees daydream 20% of the day. Do you know why they do that?
To come up with better ideas.
Exactly. You get some of your best ideas during daydreams. And I remember when I was growing up, and I don't know how many of you out there watching remember this too, but on my report cards, it always said, if Kathy would just stop daydreaming, she'd get a lot more work done and it would be better quality. They were wrong. If they thought that that was bad work, they should have seen me if I hadn't been daydreaming, right? So during the day, your daydreams are doorways into your night dreams. If you couldn't remember them, remember, if you're taking something to help you sleep, if you're taking medication for blood pressure, you know, that brings your blood pressure down at night. Sometimes you drop down so low you can't remember your dreams. So your daydreams can bring you back, and they can give you little hints and snippets about your night dreams. The second one that I really love is the lucid dream. The lucid dream is the dream you have when you know you're dreaming. Like, you know, you remember when you're tossing and turning and you can't get to sleep, and then all of a sudden you go, I think I just fell asleep. I did, I'm dreaming. That's the beginning of a lucid dream.
Okay.
And there are a lot of people who take courses and they work really hard to become lucid dreamers.
Are those more important than other dreams, the lucid dreams?
They are, because with a lucid dream, Lori, you can actually change your life. You can save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars in therapy really quick overnight. Let me give you an example of how that can happen with a lucid dream.
Okay.
One of my clients called me up and she said, you know what, Kat? I'm not going to go to sleep anymore. She said, I am so tired of this recurrent nightmare. I don't want to sleep anymore. I haven't slept in years really well. I might get 2 hours of sleep and then this lucid nightmare happens. And I wake up and I'm so upset I can't go back to sleep. My health is suffering, my marriage is suffering, and I can't work. I'm too tired. And I said, okay, tell me the dream. She said, well, I'll fall asleep and all of a sudden I'll be in my dark living room. So with dreams, you always want to watch for the play on words because they're messages. I'm in my living room watching reality TV with my husband. Now, Linda always referred to her husband as her better half. Whenever she would speak to me, my better half did this, my better half did that. And I'm thinking, you must not like yourself very much. So she said, I'm sitting on the couch in the living room watching reality TV with my husband when there's a knock on the door. And she said, right away I get anxious because I know what it is. It's the recurrent dream is happening. And I tell him, no, don't answer the door. But he ignores me. And he gets up and he walks to the door. And when he opens the door, my dead father steps into the room and says, Linda, I love you. And as soon as he does that, I scream and I wake myself up. And then I'm so upset and I'm crying and I'm so angry that I can't go back to sleep. And I'm awake for hours. And then as soon as I fall back asleep, it starts again. And I said, okay, so Linda, what is it about your dead father walking into the room that upsets you so badly? The fact that he's dead? And she said, no, the fact that it's my father. And I said, well, why? And she said, well, you know, I couldn't stand him when he was alive. Why is he suddenly showing up in my dreams? He didn't tell me he loved me when he was alive. Why is he coming in there to do that now? And I said, well, maybe he's had time to realize the error of his ways since he's been dead for a while. And he realizes that what he did on the earth plane has affected you so much. It's affecting your marriage, it's affecting your health, and it's affecting your finances. So if you want this nightmare to stop, the next time you hear the knock at the door, Linda, I want you to get up. I want you to open up the door. And when your dad steps in and says, Linda, I love you, I want you to say, I love you too. She goes, I can't do that because I don't. And I said, somewhere in there, Daddy's little girl loves Daddy. So I want you to do that if you want this dream to stop. And she said, okay, I will. I didn't hear from her for a week. She called up and she said, I haven't had the dream in a week. My dad came to the door in my dream, knocked on it. When I opened the door, I don't know what happened, but I threw my arms around his neck and said, Daddy, I love you too. The dream disappeared and I've never had it again.
Oh my
and that's a lucid dream.
Wow.
And that's also the nightmare that she had. You know, you can have dreams folding over dreams. She had a lucid nightmare that was recurring, meaning it happened over and over again. It didn't go away. And it won't go away until you solve it.
Right.
It was a healing dream. Her health improved. Her marriage is still going strong. And she has a job again because she can sleep. And it was prophetic in that it told her that as soon as she loved him and loved herself, she would be well. And that was epic in her life. That was epic. So those are the 7 categories of dreams, the 6 ways to remember them, and that's what I'm showing people in this book when it comes to their health.
Well, that's fantastic. Really, really interesting, because most of the time we hear people saying, oh, it's just a dream, forget about it, don't worry about it, but really you know, if you start paying attention, you're going to get some information that you might otherwise miss.
Yes.
Well, we have to continue this conversation in another episode because this has been so interesting and our time has gone so fast. But definitely check out Kat's book, Surviving Cancerland, Intuitive Aspects of Healing. And the Wicked Housewives will be back again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining Lori Boyle and Kathleen "Kat" O'Keefe Kanavos on Wicked Housewives on Cape Cod. Don't forget to like us on Facebook for our show updates and join us next time when we showcase more everyday heroes.